Alright, I'm driving my car. Cheers. And I'm killing 2 pigeons with 1 hammer. First we're testing we are retesting the sport mode in my 2021 Charger 5.7 Daytona edition. Actually, we're killing 3 pigeons with one hammer. So we're doing this, and then we're testing my GoPro 9 at 4K. They have a preset. You know, when you start it, there's a preset already there. It says 4K cinematic, and I checked this one because it's pretty bright outside, because previously I had to use manual exposure compensation. It was overexposing everything, but this one seems okay, and auto white balance seems to be working okay. And so we're gonna see. I'm checking in the mirror. Well, it seems to be working. And of course another test is we're doing. Well, not a test, but I just wanted to tell you a little bit about the latest news. And so yesterday, Alan from Casway came over to give me a hand. And I ordered the... What? This one's still closed. Oh no. Is it closed or is it open? Oh, it's open. That's good. Yeah, I'm going to Kenworth. I need to get a couple of those 10 micron super secret rare to find filters. And so yeah, Alan came over, and I ordered the truck when I was at the border. So the guy said, yeah, fine. So they came at 1 o'clock. Yeah, I don't think anybody's interested in the actual speedometer, right? So I think it's much more exciting to look at the average gas mileage. So that's what we're doing. And yeah, so he came over, and surprisingly it only took us an hour and a half, 1 hour 30 minutes, because this guy Al from the wrecker company, he was there before, and he knows my equipment, so he knows where to hook up, where not to hook up, and so yeah, 90 minutes and we were done. So we took and that's when I discovered that you know, one of my tires on the truck, outside tire, had a big bulge, right? And I always say I don't believe in kicking tires. You will never feel if the tire is flat. So what you gotta do is you gotta look at the bulge at the point of contact of the tire and the ground, and you will know when it's flat. And sometimes the outside tire will tell you that you have a problem inside, and that's what happened. You know, I already know my truck, right? I know the bulge, which is normal, and I look over here when actually I backed towards my spot because I wanted to do some stuff before the wrecker came. So I backed in there, and there was a piece of old asphalt in there right under that tire on the passenger side rear last axle on the truck. And I thought maybe because of that, because it was a bit higher than, you know, the ground nearby, it was like an old piece like this much of concrete, of, you know, old pavement. And then of course I kneel and I look inside. That's the next step, right? First you see the big bulge, you don't like it, what do? you kneel and you look inside between the tires. And of course, right away I saw the gap between the tires was like this. That's definitely not normal, you know, the tires inside. And then last and final step is, of course, is to kick the tire, or actually I prefer to use my fist. Boom, 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 like this. First I hit the right one on the right, which seemed okay. And then I hit the one on the left. And right away I could feel that it was empty. And the sound was hollow. And then I look from the... I move left, and I move from inside the truck towards the rim, and I see that there's a gap between the tire and the rim. Like the tire was off the rim. It lost the seal, you know. Son of a gun. And then when we were doing this, Alan was walking around looking at... I told him about this, and we started checking the ground. We found 4 nails. 4 nails. And so I was too tired yesterday after we finished, so this morning, yeah, we tried to call a tire service guy, but they were too busy, and it was already 3 o'clock, and they said, well, we won't be able to come over before 6. And after 6 they charge $2.50 Canadian for the service call. And I asked him, I said, do you think I should drive? I'm like 2 kilometers, you know, just slightly over a mile away from your shop here in Cambridge. And the guy asked me a couple of questions. He said, yeah, you should be okay. And so in the morning I put on my flashing lights on the truck, and I drove like 25-30 kilometers an hour to the shop. Guess what they found? I was afraid they would tell me that I ruined the tire, and I'm thinking, man, that's like $500-600 because I have Bridgestone, those, you know, with the big tread tires. The guy says, no, it was fixable. You had, let me focus your attention for a second. You had 3 nails. How does that even possible? How is that possible? 3 nails on a drive tire. Like, I only had a flat tire on the truck. Once on the steer. Remember when I had that explosion somewhere in Ohio or somewhere. And once I had a flat tire on the driver's side because the guy hit me as I was sitting in the parking lot. The guy was backing, you know, he didn't know how to back, so he just backed with his sharp bumper of his dry van. He backed right into my driver's side tire, killed the tire right on the sidewall. So this morning when these guys fixed my truck. Why are you beeping? Well, like 10 meters away from the curb, this thing is beeping. Anyway, and so they fixed that, and I said, guys, I'm gonna bring my Jeep. And I said, then you can retorque the wheels, because, you know, they say it's 100 kilometers, 60 miles before retorquing. But I said, hey, I'm gonna do 2 kilometers to get my Jeep, 2 kilometers back. I think that's good enough for me, so you can retorque it here. Okay, so I went, got my Jeep, and when I hooked up to the Jeep, I stopped for a second, and I went inside the yard, and I started looking at the ground in front of my spot, you know, where I park my truck. Guess what? I found 4 more nails, and I said, I gotta tell the owner about this, because something is happening. It's either the guy next to me, because we never had this issue, right? Because everything was fine on the freeway. I did the circle check, you know, when I started driving from Port Huron. So I was thinking it happened somewhere. There used to be a construction zone where that ramp to that I took from 401 to Franklin. So I thought maybe they had some broken skids in there. That's where usually nails come from, at the construction zone. You know, they bring some stuff on skids and they break them, and of course skids have nails, and always after construction there's nails on the shoulder. And I'm thinking, okay, I had a flat tire was on this side, on the passenger side, which makes total sense, because so that means that I went on the shoulder somewhere. But then I find all these nails, right? So Alan found 4 nails yesterday, I found 4 today, and 3 in the tire, so that's 9 nails. And so I thought I would go and talk to the owner of the property. She just lives there in the house, you know. She has like a 2-story, you know, house right outside this property. Like we are in her backyard, pretty much, like this truck parking lot. And as I'm walking, I keep looking at the ground. I'm very good at finding things, you know, usually, even when I was a kid. I find another small nail. And so I'm thinking, I didn't call her before, but I just knock on the door. And she comes out, and I said, I'm sorry, but I just wanted to show you something, because I just brought my truck from the Kel tire, where they were fixing 3 nails in the same tire. And I said, I found this just now in 10 minutes. And I said, yesterday we found 4 more nails. Like, what's going on? You know, do you know who does this? I said, it might be the guy next to me who pulls a garbage trailer. But that guy, it's a solid trailer, right? He has solid walls. Like, even if he was hauling broken skids with nails, like, there's no way they can just, you know. But they're all in the middle there. They were all in the middle, right where I go, because, you know, before I back into my spot, I have to go forward, and then I'm backing. And right there in the middle, all these nails. And I got, well, it was only $160, you know, for 3 nails. And they had to take the outside tire, and I had to take off the fender, the plastic fender, just loosen a couple of those bolts in there, and I sprayed some oil so that it slides easy on those you know, poles, and I was able to slide it out. And then when they were done, I you know, put it back in. And so they only charged me $160 Canadian. So, and I didn't have to buy a new tire, right? So, but I got scared, because, you know, you can get, it's a good thing when you catch it in your home area and you can actually drive to the tire shop, because if this happens on the road and you have to call roadside assistance, it's like $500-600, you know, easy. And so I went and I checked right away all tires on the trailer. No, everything is good. And so, yeah, the owner says, yeah, that's BS. She says, I'm gonna talk to them. And I said, who are you talking about? And she says, well, those guys on the corner, like a couple of spots away from me, turns out there's some construction guys there. I see they're always bringing some small trailers, you know, they pull these small utility trailers with the pickup trucks. And she said those guys actually build decks, you know, that's kind of like brigada in Russian. So they build decks for people, you know, like you have a house and you want to build a deck in the front or on the second floor, so you can have your Americano or your keg of beer, you know, comfortably in the evening. And so, of course, if they build decks, that means wood means nails. And yeah, they're like the nails, some nails were like this, some nails were like this, you know, like weird. And so she says, yeah, I'm gonna go and talk to them. And so she didn't, I thought she'd start, you know, why are you talking to me about this? And I said, well, we never had this problem, but recently it's, you know, 10 nails pretty much, right? 4 and 4, yeah, and 3 in the tire. It's not normal. Like, so, and I was joking with Kelta. When I brought my Jeep there, I took my Jeep there, so they checked all the pressures, and guys, I need 125. And the only issue with the Jeep was when I hooked up, the wheels didn't want to turn because it's been sitting so long. You know, I'm giving it, you know, gas, so I'm pushing the throttle. I look in the mirror carefully. I see that the Jeep is just dragging on the ground. The wheels are not turning. And so what do you do in that situation? You stop and you hit your handbrake, and you try to go backwards and you hit your brakes, and then you try to go forward a little bit and you hit your brakes, you know, like the trailer brake, and they should release. If not, you have to climb underneath and start knocking on those, you know, brake pads. But I pulled that handbrake a couple of times and they released. I see wheels are spinning. Hey, life is good. And so I drove over back to Kel Tire. And the same guy who fixed my flat tire on the truck is looking at me and he said, hey, I got another exciting adventure for you. But I told them beforehand that I was coming. I said, I just need, this thing was sitting here for, I don't know, 4 or 5 months. I just want to make sure it's, you know, everything is good. And I said, please make sure you tighten all the valves, because sometimes you just lose air through the valves. By the way, one of the tires on the truck, when I asked them to make them all 110 psi on the truck before, they found one tire was 95 psi. And I said, please make sure the valve is tight, because sometimes, you know, just stupid valve can lose a little bit of air over time, and then if you're not careful, if you're not paying attention, you know, eventually that tire will be like 80 psi, you know, especially in winter. Happened to me before. And at first these guys were kind of like dubious, like 125 psi. How much can those tires take? And I said, guys, I go through this each time, you know, they're afraid to put so much air. I said, it's on the serial plate of my trailer. I need 120 psi. And I said, these are 16 ply tires. Trust me, they can take 125. And then the tech was walking away, and the guy behind the counter was still looking at me. And I said, don't worry, if it explodes, you have more technicians, right? That's not your only technician. And the guy says, oh yeah, we have more. So that's how you joke about your employees, you know. But anyway, everything was good. They were done in like 5 minutes, and they said, Sergei, you're good to go. And I said, how much do I owe you? Oh, nothing. So they didn't even charge me for the tire check on the Jeep, because it was 8 tires. They were done in 5 minutes. And finally now, Cal Tire, see, they have more employees, because before, you know, during this COVID pandemic, I think they let everybody go. They had like one guy that was super busy. Now they have a bunch of guys. I see they're teaching somebody how to use the computer, how to do the ordering, you know. So that's good. And the last thing I wanted to mention is that it's been 2 days, like 2 business days. Man, it's hot. 2 business days since I ordered the Ontario permit, which I need after North Bay, where the 4-lane turns into 2-lane, and my annual permit stops working there on 2-lane with this wide pipe layer. And it's been 2 business days, and I ordered the permit online, right? Like before, when we were doing paper, Ontario MTO, Ministry of Transportation, was saying we need 5 business days, up to count on up to 5 business days to get a permit. And so now I ask them, can I get a status update on my permit, like what's going on? And they said, well, we need the following information in order to give you the status update. Your CVR, your application number, date you applied, and there's 20 other lines, you know, you have to fill out in order to get the status update. And I said, okay. So I filled all that out. I sent it over, and they say, well, it's only been 2 days, so you should give it at least a couple more days, because we always tell people, you know, it's up to 5 business days. And I said, man, and I just, you know, typed it. I said, you introduced the online ordering system. I thought that would help to cut this, you know, waiting time, because I said, you are the second slowest jurisdiction in North America to issue permits. Honestly, that's what I wrote. I said, number 1 is Quebec, and you're the second one, so have a good day. So now I'm thinking, with that critique, will they take it positively, or will they take it negatively and say, okay, Captain Sergei, let his application sit there till Christmas. And the broker who gave me this load already wants me to go back and get another one. Hopefully, and she writes, hopefully, ideally, you know, we want to deliver this one and load the second one early next week. What do you say to that? Okay, I measure my distance from me to the pipeline in Alberta, from pipeline back to the shipper in Ohio, and I type her a message. I say, okay, for my current location, I'm nowhere near as if I was at the ship, right? Because I had to do this big detour back to Ontario to get my Jeep and Stinger. So actually now I'm 2,100 miles from the consignee, whereas from Ohio I'd be 2,000 miles. But I couldn't go directly. I needed the Jeep and Stinger, right? So I said I'm now 2,100 miles, and from there back it's 2,000 miles. So I said it's 4,100 miles, and today is Wednesday. So if you want me to pick up the second machine, let's say Monday, that leaves me 4 days to do 4,100 miles. And I said, if I knew how to do 1,000 miles a day, I would probably have had a medal or something. That's what I wrote. So I said, short story, it's not going to happen. And she sent me a smiling face as a return. She says, I understand. As a reply, I understand. And I said, oh, and I still don't have my permit. I cannot move, you know. I thought I would go to North Bay and sit there, but what if there's some kind of a construction on that 11 and they want me to go on 17? I'll wait here. Anyway, let me go get my my filters. Oh, by the way, I forgot, did I show you guys this? That's my new modem. See, I got this Nighthawk 5G portable hotspot. So this is from Bell Mobility. I used to have like an old model, but it's been good to me. Like they give me it's like on a flexible plan, so the more you use, the more you pay. And I think I usually use like 20 gigabytes a month from Bell Mobility, but this only works in Canada. But I was anxious to get this because I'll be going, you know, pretty much this 2,100 miles. It's all through Canada, right? I cannot use my Verizon phone, and I'm out of that 30 gigabyte hotspot allowance there anyway. And I don't want to use my Rogers phone because I think I have 50 gigabytes there, but I probably already used half of that. And so this comes in at a very good time. All right, so the Jeep is hooked up to the truck, and I park him on the side there because I don't want to, if I hook up to the trailer, I'll be 107 feet long and other guys will have trouble getting out of the yard. But the long neck is attached, the Stinger is attached. As soon as I have my permit, I can leave and start heading north and then west. And so now basically it's the waiting game. And of course then I will have to order permits for Manitoba, Saskatchewan and Alberta. But those ones usually are much faster. You get them pretty much on the same day. And I think Manitoba and Saskatchewan I do on the phone. Like you call them and she asks you all the questions, you know, and then she asks for your credit card number. And I think Saskatchewan, they have to do sometimes they have to do an engineering review when it's I'm pretty sure with this one they will have to do it. Basically they check bridges, and then you call them back a couple of hours later and you pay, and she gives you the permit number, and that's all you need. You don't even need to print it out. If a cop stops you in Saskatchewan, you just give them this number and they can pull it from the computer. Like for some reason they don't do it in the States, but in Canada, in the West, that's all you have. All you have to have is the permit number. In Alberta, I have an online access. I can get my permit anytime through online. It's also you apply and then you wait, usually a couple of hours, then you get an email saying that your permit is approved. And I think I forgot how you pay. Do you pay on the phone or you pay directly online? But the same story, you pay with a credit card. So anyway, those are the news. So I'm still in Cambridge waiting for the permit. Ciao.